You're probably looking at this plant, this cattail, and thinking, well, how am I going to use cloth with this? Well, the reason I'm doing this DVD is to kind of show you other ways that you can use cloth, other than just for clothing. Now, you would think to do, say, some wind on this plant, you would use flex and some wind on it or something. But I find just using a cloth sim is a heck of a lot quicker way to do it. Um, so I'm just going to take you through the process of how we would do this. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to make a plane roughly the size of this plant right here. So we'll go ahead and move it so it's right in the middle of the plant. And while I'm doing this, I'm just going to throw this in the box mode so it's easier to work with. So we'll go ahead and we're going to get rid of the width segments and just increase the length segments, like so. So we'll go ahead and collapse that to notable poly, although you don't need to at this point, but let's just do it. So the next thing we're going to do is make multiple copies of this. So let's say we want to have a few. Unlock it. So we'll just create a few of these around here. That should be about enough. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take all the planes that I'm going to use for my cloth sim, and I'm going to make copies of them. So let's freeze those. And let's freeze these and get them out of the way so we can see exactly what we're working on here. I'm going to take this object and I'm going to go ahead and attach all the rest of these planes together. And I'll show you exactly why I'm doing that in a second. So let's go ahead and unfreeze our originals. Well, let's just do that. I'm going to hide these and just get them out of the way. Okay. So we've got these individual planes. And then we've got this object right here, which is all of the planes in one object. Now the reason I'm doing that is I want to run the cloth sim on just one object. I don't really need to run it on multiple objects. It would just take too long to add them all and do all the groupings. So I'm going to use this to drive everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that object and just for clarity's sake, put it in box mode. Okay. So I'm going to take each one of these and I'm going to bind it to this using Skinwrap. So bind surface, do that. So I'm just skin wrapping each of these objects to that main object, and I'll explain why in a second. And there we go. So now this object is going to be driving all the rest of those objects. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and freeze that and unhide my cattails. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skin wrap. Whoops. Let's go ahead and delete these modifiers. Sorry about that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and skin wrap each of these to each of these planes. So we're gonna do the same thing, but this time we're gonna do this. And obviously it's gonna take a little bit because there are a lot of faces in each of these. So I'm just gonna pause right now and I'm gonna continue doing these and I'll come back in a second. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and I've skin wrapped each of these cattail models to each of the respective planes. So we're all really set to go. I'm going to go ahead and take these each out of box mode so we can exactly see what's happening. Now, I really don't even need to see these planes anymore, so I'm just going to go ahead and hide them. Okay, so all I need is this object right here. Take it out of box mode, and we'll freeze the rest. So all I have to do at this point is throw the cloth effects modifier on there. And what we're going to do is, first thing I'm going to show you is the gravity. Now typically Whenever I start a cloth sim for clothing, I pretty much always start at negative 2,000. The one thing that people always try to do is they want to use cloth and like set the gravity to negative 980. Well, yeah, that is technically correct in the real world, but it really doesn't matter what any of these numbers are. It doesn't matter what any of these numbers are. All that matters is what you see looking correct. So you might end up putting, some bend settings in here that are nothing like silk, but when you run your simulation and see it played back, it looks like silk. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. It really doesn't matter at all. All that matters is that you set these settings, you tweak with them to make them look correct. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and turn on the edge springs, and I'm just not going to really change anything, to tell you the honest truth. Just say OK, for right now at least. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my subsamples to 4. That's where I usually start at. Now the gravity right now is Earth gravity, which is set at negative 980. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change that and make it positive 3,000. In other words, I'm going to make these cloth objects hang upward. Now I'll show you why in a second. So we're going to go to our cloth object. Now you can see the reason I did that, the reason I made one object rather than working with all the other objects is I can now go ahead and just grab all these verts at once and make a group and say, just call it pin because there's only one group, and we'll make it a preserved group. Okay, meaning it's just going to stay there. They're not actually doing anything. The preserved group again is telling cloth effects, hey, whatever these verts are doing below this modifier, keep doing it. It's not going to be part of the sim, but it's going to continue moving in the way that it is set up to move beneath it. So if there was a skin modifier on this, then it would do whatever it's going to do. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and throw a quick animation on this. I mean, not much, just kind of do that, just to get some motion out of it so you can kind of see what's going to happen. And I'm going to go ahead and hit simulate. And you can kind of see what's happening. Obviously, it's just I'm not really doing anything. I'm just moving it real quick. So they're all going to move pretty much identically. What you really want to do, and I'm going to show you in a sec, is you want to put some wind in there. And you want to put some turbulence in there. Not too much, but just enough to get them to move. But since we are doing this now, let's go ahead and let's put this back in the box mode. And let's unfreeze our cattails. And let's see what this looks like. Let's do this real quick, and then hit play. So you can kind of see, and you saw how fast that it's simulated. It was really quick. So let's go ahead and change this to positive 1,000. Because I didn't like how bouncy it was. So we'll just run simulate. You kind of see, what's going on. So you'd probably play with the dampening settings. Play with the density settings. See how bouncy it is. So let's go ahead and just run that play it back. You can kind of see it's real bouncy. So we're gonna go erase, and let's take a look at the object properties again. And let's say the density, let's set it to 0.001. Let's say OK. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and put a wind in here. Just a wind space warp. So let's just toss this in. And let's pretty much just aim it going across these guys right here. Okay. And then let's give it a little bit of turbulence. I'm just going to really tweak it out and see what happens. Okay, so we'll go to the cloth object and we'll go cloth forces, and we're going to add that wind here. So we'll erase the sim, and then let's just run the sim again. You know what, let's just drop this down to 2, just so we can see how quickly it can simulate. Okay, obviously that's really strong, but you can see how they're all moving individually, independently of each other. So let's go ahead and let's stop that right now. Let's grab that wind and let's make the strength 0.0. No, let's make it 0.1. Okay, and then let's run that sim again, and let's see how it looks. And if you think, if you think about it, you have a whole bunch of these, and they're all just kind of. I mean, if you have like a couple hundred of them, then they're all going to be kind of right on top of each other, and you're going to get great motion out of them, seeing them move independently. And this is just one quick way that you could do it. I mean, if you really wanted to get into it, you could actually create something that's a little bit more detailed as far as the driver. You could add a little bit more. You could do one cloth driver for each one of these. It would be a little bit more work, but you could do it if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and play that back real quick. Let's just get this out of the way. Hit play, and you can kind of see what's happening. So I think the wind is still a bit strong, and you're starting to see a little bit of bending in these little objects here, the tips of them. So I'm going to increase the gravity just a bit, and I'm also going to kill the animation on this because really, that was just to kind of show you how it would move. So let's just deal with how the wind is going to look. Alright, so let's make this 0.05. And let's set the gravity to positive 2,000 now. Actually, you know what? 1,500. And let's run that sim again. We'll leave it at 2. Let's run that again. Now you kind of see, and it's bebopping around a little bit more. You're not getting as much bending here. But it looks like a real turbulent kind of twitchy wind, so you get some secondary motion out of these, and they're not all moving the identical way. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at what this looks like now. You can just picture if you had a couple hundred of these, how cool it would look, But I think I see my problem here. Let's set this to 0.25, and let's set the frequency to 0.25. I'm really just throwing numbers in here. I don't even know exactly what I want them to look like, but I want you to just kind of see how you can quickly tweak these settings and get something back really fast. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sim, and I'll be right back. And I'm back. So let's see how this looks. Now you can see how it's got a real nice motion to it. It's really quick to sim. You have a lot of time to sit there and tweak with the settings because it really doesn't take very long to run these sims. The very cool thing about doing it this way versus doing it with, say, Flex is now you can actually run a collision object through these guys. Say a guy walking through, or a truck driving by and the wind of it, brushing against them. And you can actually have that be affected, have these guys be affected by that. That's just something you can't get out of Flex very easily or quickly. This, with cloth effects, considering just how few faces you're simulating, it would be very quick and very easy to do. So let's take a look at that. So let's go ahead and just create a sphere. Okay, so we'll just throw a sphere down real quick. And we obviously do not need that many faces. And let's make it a little bit bigger, obviously. Pick a number other than 13. Don't want to use 13. Alright, so we'll just do that. And I'm just going to brush it across the top of these guys. So let's bring back my animation controls there. And let's put this here. And let's just say we're going to do that and just have this pass through. Just like that. Real quick. So it's going to hit 1, 2, maybe 3 of them. Well, 3 of them. Okay? So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Let's select our cloth object. And let's go add objects and pick that sphere. Now we'll go object properties, sphere 01. We'll make that a collision object. We'll just leave all the default settings. Don't need to really worry about it. And let's rerun that sim again. Alright, so we're going to do this, erase the sim, and then simulate. And I just basically want to show you, that's possible. And there you go. Real simple, real easy, not a problem. So you can picture having a guy running through and being able to, move stuff around. If you want, like I said, you can take a box and just, let's say you wanted to fake kind of like a wind, let's say, and you could just take a box and just run it across. You could just basically, create a box, and just have it brush by. If you were to look at it at the top view, you'd create a box kind of like, say, like this, right? And then you'd move it in this direction here, and just basically have it brush by them, and that way, as they're coming by, they'll just kind of deflect slightly off. You'd probably want this angle to be more like that, and just kind of make it look kind of like there's wind moving them. There's so many tricks you can pull off without ever actually having to do anything with cloth. And this is a perfect example. I just took a sphere and I just ran it right through these guys, and I ended up with this. Now, if you, let's say, for example, you didn't want, so say, for example, you don't want these cattails to deform at all. All you would really need to do is take this object, or, both of them, the ones that you were driving for, grab this vert right here, and just pull it down. That's all you would really need to do, and just have one face for that. For this example, I'm just going to leave it as is. It's really just, it's up to you whether or not you would need to do it, because like I said, if you have a bunch of these, then you really wouldn't need to worry about it. So if we go ahead and play that again, you kind of see exactly what I mean. And again, this is just a quick example of what you can do. You can get really complicated. You can get really intricate with how you run these sims. You can lower the gravity. You can increase the gravity if you want them to be more stiff. There's just really no limit to what you can pull off using cloth in this fashion. So that's the end of this tutorial, and we'll see you later.